Okay, so now that we have the buckles in, and I can already see a slight modification in the very near future, check this out. That's the center console and the plastic seatbelt buckle vibrating against it. You think that's going to drive me nuts? I see either a loop to hold that tight or some of that foam rubber glued on the back, but that's not what we're doing today. Today we're going to get the retractor in, or at least we're going to get it partly done. I've kind of been taking smaller bites at this the last week or so, partially because I'm getting pretty exhausted of this project. And when I get exhausted of a project, I tend to get impatient. I tend to cut corners. If I get a wrong part, instead of taking the time to send it back and get the right one, I'll just find a way to make it work, and I'm never happy with it. So taking smaller bites at this is one way that I'm trying to avoid that. So I'm going to at least get one of these sets of points down, and I'm mounting points down today. It's Wednesday, and still have lots of time to do this. So the retractor on the inside has 3 mounting points. One that's going to come down here someplace that holds the lap portion, anchors the lap portion down, and I've got a mounting point for that right here. That's where the original lap belt was, so I'm just going to use that. The other mounting point that I have to put down near the floor is the retractor, and I see no reason why I shouldn't put the retractor right on here with an L bracket. And I'm also looking at this, wondering if I can just mount it right to that and have it come up, because the upper mounting point is going to be up here on the roll bar somewhere. So I'm thinking that might be perfectly fine for that. I just remembered I got a broken bolt here I got to fix. Years ago, if this roll bar doesn't look normal, years ago I had a much wider set of seats in it, and I got them for free. They were out of, I think, like a BMW 530i, and I wanted to put them in, and I wanted them bad enough that I wound up modifying the roll bar here. I don't know if you can see it. Did I get that in the shot? It's very bright out today, so it's hard to see. I made this piece of pipe, and I welded it in place of the stock one. So I did that, and there's no reason to ever change that, because it's fine. And so yeah, I got that broken bolt down there, and I'm not sure if that was up there or if I did it. Probably I'm just going to leave it. I think I'm just going to mount the retractor right to here if I can. We'll do the other point to there, and then we'll get the roll bar. I'm going to clamp the roll bar in with a vice grip just so I can get the up and down area right. But let's get this bolt out, and let's get that anchor point in for now. Okay, I'm test fitting this, just trying to figure out if it all is going to work. I've got a clamp holding the upper shoulder anchor point down. My belt anchor point is down at the factory point, and I'm looking at the anchor point for the retractor. I can't go there because I don't have enough space. It won't get that close. Can you see that? I would have to space it almost out to there, which is not going to clear the seat on the driver's side. I can go over here, but to be honest with you, I mean, it would work. I don't know that I like it. Where I really want it is down here. That puts it in line with the roll bar going all the way up. And all I have to do is make sure these bolts will come out, and then make an L bracket for it. I've already checked it on the driver's side. It does clear over there. And then I'm going to have to deal with that up there, which may be tomorrow. I'm going to make my I'm going to make an L bracket down here and test one of them. First, I'm going to have to make sure I can get that bolt out without breaking it. So I'm going to try that first. Okay, I've got the retractor mounted down there, and I got a small problem, and that is the belt really isn't long enough. With the seat in its lockdown position, I can just barely get the belt attached before I run out of belt. And somebody bigger than me, and I'm 6'4" and 215, anybody bigger than me is not going to be able to get the belt attached. Now, a woman or a kid probably would have no problem with it, but Yeah, I'm going to actually have to move this up at least a ½ inch to clear that weld up there to mount that. So I'm just wondering if I don't need to change this right now. Now I could make that tab longer and move this up an inch. I could change the mounting location. I'm sure they wouldn't like it if I use the same mounting point for both the retractor and the belt. There's probably some kind of rule against that, and it doesn't really sound like a good idea anyway. I could come off of here. That may be my best bet because I wouldn't have to bend anything at that point. Maybe that's what I should have done all along, but I kind of like the idea of them down there. But I just don't have enough belt length for that, and I really don't want to return the belts yet again and try and find something else. So I'm going to think about this for a bit, but what I think I'm probably going to do is come off of this with a straight bracket instead of down there. Let me think on that for a minute. Okay, so my first thought was just to extend this bracket up about another 4 inches. That will gain me more than enough belt for somebody my size, 6'4" and 215, to easily get the belt latched. If you're any fatter than that, I guess you're calling Uber, right? But the problem with that is it's not going to work over on the driver's side. Don't know if you can see that, but the seat's going to hit it. So now I'm back to thinking I'm going to come off of this bracket because it needs to be back in here rather than up in here in order to clear the seat over there when the seat's all the way back. So that's what I think I'm going to have to do. I have 10 inches of the 1/4 inch flat bar left, so I think I'm going to come up 5 inches and mount that here. I wonder if I can put a twist in it so that it's alongside the roll bar. Don't know. Guess I'm going to have to play with that a bit. Okay, the job's all done, but while I was editing the video, I realized I must not have pressed record when I bolted that bracket in that holds the retractor on and show it to you. So let's do that now, and then we'll get on with the rest of it. So this is just a piece of that 1/4 inch flat bar. What is it, inch wide, 1.5 1.25 wide, something like that, 1/4 inch thick. And I just drilled 2 holes in it, and I put one bend in it back there, right above here, so that it would kind of tuck it in back away from that seat a little bit. And that's actually pretty good. It's not my first choice of where I would have wanted it, but I think it's certainly acceptable. So back to the rest of the project. Okay, so today's the day I am going to punch the holes in the roll bar and weld the piece of pipe in for my upper mount. It is a breezy day here today, so I apologize for any wind noise. Good thing I have a flux core wire welder and not a traditional MIG welder with gas shielding. I've got the top slid back about, I don't know, 12, 14 inches. Hopefully that's going to give me enough room to do my welding back in there. And the reason I picked that distance is because it lets me line up 4 of the mounting holes and put 4 bolts in it, just so nothing goes totally pear-shaped while I have it sitting there like that. And that kind of makes me feel a bit better about it. I really don't want any disasters to happen. So I am going to go ahead and get those holes drilled and get the pieces of pipe in, and then we're going to weld them up. Okay, so there's my hole drilled with my chunk pipe in, and if anybody out there is wondering, that is just a piece of 3/8 inch black iron pipe, a pipe nipple, had threaded ends on it, got it from Lowe's, and I got about an 8-inch one so I would make sure I had enough room to cut the threaded ends off and be able to do both sides. This wasn't without trials and tribulations. I had the perfect drill bit for this, and you can see it there. I broke it doing side number 1, so I'm going to have to come up with a better solution. There's my bolt through it, and yes, I tested it to make sure that the nut would fit on the other side, and it does. So I'm going to go do the other side, and then I'm going to weld both of them up. Okay, it is Saturday. I kind of had to cut my day short yesterday because it started to rain, and it's teasing it here again today. So yesterday I was all but done. I had everything welded in. I was going to stop and break for lunch and then come back out and grind it down a bit and sand it and paint it. and I looked up and I realized it was going to start to rain, so I just did a real quick grind and paint and slapped the top back on and just barely beat the rain. So while it is not as pretty as I would like, everything is welded in and welded on both sides. The Vevor 130 did a great job welding that, and I'm pretty happy with the results. It could be prettier, but oh well, that didn't happen. So I'm going to go ahead and bolt the seat belt up there, and what I got here is I got a grade 8 bolt, and unfortunately I could not get the exact length. I had to shorten it, and I also center drilled it, and I'm going to put one of these little trailer pin clips in it. I'm going to put a lock nut on first, and the main reason I'm using the lock nut is because the outside is 5/8 and the regular nut's 11/16, so this one plain fits in there better. And I got a washer, which I kind of put a curve on it to fit the roll bar, and I also had to take a bite out of it because my hole is so close to the angle bar that comes down that the regular washer doesn't fit up there. I could have given myself another 1/4 inch, and I didn't. So I'm going to get that bolted up and we'll come back and see what it looks like. Okay, so it is getting kind of late in the afternoon on Sunday, and I think I'm pretty much done. As you can see, I think you can see anyway, I am all put together now. I left myself a little bit of, I can't see the screen at all out here today, a little bit of wobble there. And you see I got myself back here together. I don't think that's coming out. Again, I can't see the camera. I hope you can see that. And we're mounted down here. As you see, I broke that plastic housing, and I'm going to have to glue that back together. I was pretty hard on these belts in the process of mounting this all together. I got to tell you, I may wind up buying another set now that I have all the fabrication filled out. I may even buy a better set. But I think I need to go sit in the driver's seat and see if I can, and on the driver's side, I did something else. And I know it's windy out here too, and you probably can't hear half what I'm saying. Sorry about it. On the driver's side, let me move the seat forward if I can, one-handed. I had this belt lock on me, and I couldn't get it to release. So I wound up taking it apart, and unfortunately the spring came out, and I never did get it wound back in right. I took it apart 3 different times. I got the lock mechanism working, so if you yank it, it locks, but it does not retract. And I've taken it apart 3 more times trying to get that spring set right, and I just can't seem to get it. And as cheap as these are, I don't know that I want to feel like farting around with it, but I want to get in it, and I want to see if they work for me, especially the driver's side over here. Okay, I have no idea if you guys can see this or not, but sitting on the tripod, this I think is about as good as I can do. So let's see if this works for me. Again, I don't really think that I'm gonna, I don't know, I may take it apart and fool with that spring one more time, I don't know. Let's just make sure we can lock it. There we go, we're locked. I got a little bit of belt left. See, it retracts fine out here. It just won't go back all the way back in, but there it is. 3-point C harnesses. Shoulder harness. And it kind of sort of tries to retract. I don't know, I may wait till that seriously annoys me to do anything about it, and I may just go ahead and order another one. Like I say, they're cheap enough, and I may decide, now that I know how the mounts go and how everything fits, I may just decide to buy a better pair too. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. I hope you laughed at my screw-ups and cheered along with me when I had a success. And please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all the next time. Bye for now.